Alright guys, good morning and welcome to another Alpha.FX market analysis. Today we're going to start reviewing yesterday's order and later trade, and then we're going to move on with our daily process. So we had AUDJPY alarm set yesterday. The alarm was set right at this level, that is the edge of the demand zone. If you check just a second. If you check yesterday's document, we have this alarm, right? AUDJPY, 1 hour getting into the demand zone, wait for 15-minute bullish confirmation, bullish engulfing candle, pin bar, bullish pattern within the DA, demand area, or moving away from it, right? So what happened? If you remember, we had US CPI yesterday, which was expected to generate some intraday volatility, and that was exactly what happened during New Year time. This was the CPI candle, that was the candle that triggered our alarm. You see that went just a little bit inside our demand area and then rejected. After this rejection, that's where we went long, right? Exactly there. And the stop loss was below the wick of the rejection candle, right, of the confirmation candle. And it gave us straight away, we didn't even have to endure a drawdown. It went straight to our take profit. So yeah, good trade, plus 2 hours. We are on the week plus 1 hour. We had a minus 1 hour on Monday, and yesterday we had plus 2 hours. So we are plus 1 hour on the week, right? Okay, now we're gonna move into our updated template for our daily process. Alright, so here we are. By the way, if you want to take a screen capture of this is exactly the setup parameters that we use on a daily basis, right? Most of you already know it, but in case you don't, here you have all the parameters. Later I'm gonna make available a cheat sheet with more details on it, but anyway, that's it. Okay, so let's check the economic calendar for today. Right here. Okay, main news are already behind us. GBP, GDP, monthly and yearly. The yearly came out worse than expected. So I'm gonna just put it here. I'm gonna put it here, and I don't know what that happened. Okay. Now we're gonna see the strongest versus the weakest on the relative strength analysis. What do we have here? Finally, we saw the dollar drifting and melting yesterday. Today it doesn't seem that weak, but we definitely have the JPY very weak, and we have gold very strong. Interesting. So what would we trade for today? The question is, JPY for sure, right? Is the weakest. And we see the euro. No, the Aussie. Oh, we have the same as yesterday. Same as yesterday. Strongest AUD and euro, and the weakest JPY by far. So we're gonna look. Okay, this is a step by step to know if we are currently in a risk on or risk off scenario, right? So what we check, what we used to do with the Dixie only, now we're gonna do it a little bit more robust, all right? So we go here, Dixie. What are we on the Dixie? Beautifully rejecting a higher time frame supply area right here, and boom, meltdown. So where are we expecting? We're expecting a bearish continuation, right? If you remember yesterday's analysis, we were exactly on that. We were expecting lower prices. Boom, boom. nuking all the way, and today we are there too. So beautiful. Bear in mind that today it's Friday, right? So what I mean by Friday is that we have to check the weekly. On Mondays and Fridays, you need to check the weekly to know what to expect for the week and also for the day, right? So here we went all the way up to our moving averages and was rejected. One more week to the upside, and now we can expect the bearishness to continue, right? Can we expect a fully bearish day? Yes, we can. Why? Because we are not in the extreme. We are not printing a full candle closing at its low or at its highs. So it's very probable that we see a continuation to the downside. All right, look at this. I definitely expect for price to head here and even lower too. We'll see. So we can expect a bearish dollar. What does it mean to have a bearish dollar? It means risk on, right? Because bearish dollar is the dollar is considered. Okay, let's close this one. Save. The dollar is considered as a haven. So if it's down, then assets and the capital is being allocated to risk assets, to more volatile assets. So here risk is, in matters of Dixie, risk is on. Now let's move on to check the indices. We're gonna remove AUDJPY from here, we're gonna go here, and we're gonna go to the indices. US Tech is Nasdaq, it's the same, it's the CFD of Nasdaq. 4 hour, 1 hour. So we are trending upwards, right? Let's go to the daily. Yeah. So this also supports the risk on scenario. Let's see the US 500, the S&P, also the same. Bullish, which supports the risk on scenario because stocks are risky assets. Heat map. Commodity FX versus safe haven. Okay, so here we need to understand one thing. What are the commodities currencies? AUD, NCD, and CAD, basically, right? Those three. Because they are tied to gold, oil, etc. If we see the commodity currencies are slightly green, right? Mostly green, we would say. And the safe havens, USD, JPY, and CHF, right? We have a mix. Look, USD is barely green, you could say. JPY is fully red, strongly red. And then we have CHF, is slightly green again. So we have a mixed scenario. So in matters of currencies, commodity FX versus safe haven, we could say is neutral, all right? And so the final verdict is we have two that are on, right? On, risk on, risk on. If you see the Dixie, here we took the Dixie as on. So here we would have USD and JPY pointing risk on, right? So, and CHF, we should check CHF. Let's check CHF, the chart. CHF. But we need to go to the futures. CHF. Boom. Swissie. Wow. Huge gap up. Wow. That is a huge gap up. What happened? Is that right? Okay, let's go back to CHF USD. Sorry. Where is USD CHF? This should be. It is going down. So CHF would be the only one pointed out, but JPY and USD. So I'm gonna put here mostly on X for CHF, right? So final verdict, we're gonna put on, right? We're on a risk on scenario. If you're gonna on a risk on scenario, what are we going to be doing? We're gonna be longing, right, the forex market against the USD, against the JPY, against the CHF. In this case, the CHF is not as it's not weak, so we're gonna use other markets against USD and CHF. So now this is a new that I wanted to share with you. That is also a confirmation. Check market structure, right? EMA 50 slope plus break of structure. Among the strongest. What does this mean among the strongest? Is that if we have more than one strong, in this case we have AUD and Euro, right? We go to the pair and we see and we pay attention to what the pair is doing. So Euro, AUD, boom. So we see that Euro AUD is on the daily going down. 16 hours, very down. 4 hours, completely down. 1 hour, 1 hour like that. So as we're gonna day trade, right? We have to pay attention to the 1 hour also, right? So we have a big imbalance here. Maybe it's balancing before continue going down. But I'm not longing this pair, right? Look, everything is red. Everything's red. The 15 minutes maybe a little bit up, but yeah. Look at this already. Yeah, it's so mostly red, mostly no. You know, remember that the 15 minutes is only for the setup, right? It's only for the refinement of the entry. It's not, again, sorry. It's refinement of the entry. It's not the setup. The setup, we get it from 1 hour and above, all right? So here, it has broken to the upside, but in all other time frames we are still super bearish. So I'm gonna take as AUD is the strongest, right? And if you check the heat map, that confirms it. Let's check it. AUD, boom, fully. You see against the euro is 0, right? But against all the other ones, it's green. Gold is by far the greenest one. We're gonna start checking gold on Monday, and we're gonna start trading it with this specific approach, right? Not much different than this one, right? But here we're gonna add a fake out or a liquidity sweep, right? In the case of gold. So here I can put it in case of gold. Yeah, but this is not the trigger. This is the trade management. This is not the setup, it's the setup parameters, right? Alright, so here, AUD strikes. And we're gonna put the screen capture, right? Look at that. Whoa. There we go. All right, boom. I'm on the weakest. So I'm on the weakest. The weakest is JPY, right? But let's put USD because USD, it is weak, right? We checked the chart already. So let's check AUD USD, USD JPY, and we move from there. USD CAD, USD SAR, USD JPY. As expected, both weak, they are there, moving sideways, nothing defined. On the 4 hour, sideways, rangy, awful. We did exactly the opposite of what we should have done, right? We should have gone from the higher time frame to the lower time frame. We went from the lower to the higher, but yeah, the picture is still the same in all time frames. Rangy, choppy, both weak. So yeah, you can trade either of those, of the two, right? We had kind of a pin bar yesterday. This supply. Not the fresh area, not the best area. Let's check for the 16 hour, maybe we have it there. This was yesterday, right? This was yesterday. Nope. Yeah, these two were yesterday. So 4 hour. This was yesterday. Yeah, you see, here we go. Very nice higher time frame supply area rejection. Beautiful. Beautiful. All right, so let's keep it up. We have a big rejection here. Now we can expect lower prices. Lower prices, it would mean a weak USD or a strong JPY or both, right? But we're not seeing it. Why aren't we seeing this? Because they are both weak. So yeah. But across all time frames, I will stick to JPY. So let's move on to our process. And I had to put a screen cap right here using JPY, doing absolutely nothing. Doing absolutely. So, and now we go the strongest versus weakest. So we know that the AUD is the strongest, and here it told us nothing. So we go again to our relative strength based on the heat map, and we see the JPY is the weakest. So considering it's Friday, right? It's Friday. It's most probable that we're not gonna get a trade, but let's check it anyway. AUD JPY. As expected, going high. Let's go to the 15-minute. We already know from yesterday that all higher time frame structure is totally bullish. 3 hours, 2 hours, 1 hour. Okay. So we just let me see. Okay, we got rejected from this lower time frame demand zone. Oh, it's amazing how it respects it. Lower time frame demand zone, and boom. So now I expect it to actually be rejected from this demand zone, which is currently here. So we're gonna take this trade right now, guys. Right now, we cannot miss this entry. Right now. Oh, just to see here, this is 3 pips too low. We're gonna put it below here, and we're not expecting for this to do a. Okay, so that's the parameter. Go ahead and execute. AUDJPY. Why I don't have the chart? AUDJPY. $15. Let's put it here. Market pending. Market pending. I think I'm gonna execute market, guys. Yeah, I'm gonna execute market right now. Market pending and that can open. So executed market right now. If you want to set this order, just put it. I don't think it's gonna go much lower. Maybe yes, maybe no. I don't know. We're gonna add this order to our AUDJPY long order. Boom. There you have. Don't get carried away by my market execution, right? I'm gonna respect this one. I'm gonna do another entry when it touch this one, this level. You can do both. The thing is that our stop loss is protected, and if the stop loss is executed, it's because our whole idea was invalidated, right? We were just, it's not that we were wrong, it's that the market just went on the opposite side. We are not looking to be right or wrong, we are looking to trade, to get probabilities on our side, right? Remember that, guys. Alright, so we had our order. Let's put before the strong versus weak analysis right here. That is the AUDJPY fully bullish, no time frames. I wonder why we have so many wicks up here. Let me just check that. Are we in some kind of supply zone or something? We're feeling this gap right there. Interesting. It's like so far away. I don't see this holding. Yeah, we do have this supply area, right? Here. We're within a daily supply. Check the hourly. Oh, it's so long ago, right? So long ago. So we had this gap that's currently at. We have to fill this gap yet. Right here. Interesting. I'll put it there. Okay. Alright, guys. So now let's move on to here. Boom. So I put the chart of strongest versus weakest. Copy and remove right here. AUD versus JPY. JPY. That's really small, a little bit small, so it fits there. And that's it, guys. We have our throughout process and analysis. now, if you have an order, you have a pending order, hopefully it's going to be executed. If you executed market, good too for you. I think it's a good trade. Remember to adjust to do your trade management, right? In case of here, for me, it's as we are on Friday, right? Today's Friday. I would follow strictly this. 1 hour, I'm going to close 50% and then move stop loss to break even, and then let the rest pay out, right? Yeah. I would probably leave it at 25. No, I'm not leaving it 25% because it's a cross, right? And during overnight, the spreads are widened, so it's very easy for your stop loss to be triggered from like a far price, right? So yeah, guys, that's it. That's all for today. Enjoy your weekend, enjoy your family, have a great time, respect your rules, follow your trading plan, and remember, be an alpha at everything you do. Bye bye, guys. See ya.